Hello, sisters. Welcome to the Sacred Medicine Podcast, weaving powerful, soulful practices into functional medicine. Step into this beautiful space of devotion and explore everything from nurturing foods, rituals, sexuality, and awakening your innate sensuality. It is time to own your radiance. This is the Sacred Medicine Podcast. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Sacred Medicine Podcast. If this is the first time you are joining us, welcome. And if you are a frequent listener, thank you so much for coming back. So this week, my guest is Melissa Wood. She is a health and wellness coach. She is devoted to practicing plant-based nutrition with mindful meditations, which allow her to help women achieve life-altering shifts. She is passionate about creating comfortable space for women to let go of negative self-talk and in turn open up to positive new ways of being. She encourages women to step into their power through the mind, body, and soul connection. Her work explores plant-based nutrition, integrating movement in daily life, and practicing self-compassion to accomplish personal growth. Now, I met Melissa way back a few years ago when I was the medical director at Oz Garcia, who's a celebrity nutritionist. And she would come in for her IV vitamin infusions. And I just loved, her ability to have such a clean, healthy living and lifestyle. And I've been following her on Instagram, and she's just recently had a baby. So I'm still very in awe of how she is able to do so much and still have a baby and still sleep, 8 hours a night and still, fit in her daily meditation time. Her vegan lifestyle, still eating really great and juicing in the morning. So she does so many things, and I had to have her on the show just because I wanted to know, what are your secrets? Tell us. So I hope you enjoy the show, and here we go. Hello and welcome back to the Sacred Medicine Podcast. I am your host, Margaret Romero, and I am so happy that today I have my guest is Melissa Wood. She is a health and wellness coach. Now, Melissa and I met way back, actually just a few years ago when I used to work at celebrity nutritionist Oz Garcia's office, and Melissa would come in and get her IV nutrients and from us. So that's how we met. And I've been following her on Instagram, so I know that she has a little baby boy who's so adorable and cute. But I'm in a little bit in awe of all the things that you do, and you still maintain like totally healthy lifestyle as well as totally being in shape, I have to say. And
thank you.
And so I have you on the call today because I really want to find out, especially for moms out there, because I'm not a mother. If you can, I just want to jam on a few different things and how you keep it all together, how you still maintain, that healthy lifestyle and eating well and juicing. And yeah, I just would love to know a little bit of the behind the scenes.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you for that. I'm really excited to be here with you and to share with your audience things that, really work for me through a lot of trial and error and being at my worst and, just finding a place of peace to just feel good in my own body and feel my absolute best that I can feel. That's really my what I strive for on a daily basis. And some practices that I've really stuck to and cultivated in my life are, so things have shifted a lot since having my son. I used to wake up in the morning and have a cup of warm water with lemon with some fresh ginger, and I would sit on the couch and have a beautiful 20-minute meditation with no disruptions. That has all changed. So I do not wake up that way anymore. Benjamin is now my alarm clock because I love to sleep. I average 9 hours of sleep a night. Even still with a baby, I go to bed shortly after him to guarantee that I get that rest.
Wow, that's great.
I know it's really the key element, I think, in the longevity of feeling good in your body and having the energy to do it all, at least as much as you can do and want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, so now I'll wake up, I hear Benjamin, and I don't jump out of bed to get him. I take a moment, I sit up, I really feel my feet firmly planted on the ground, and I start to get into my body, and I immediately say how grateful I am that I am healthy, that I have a healthy baby. And you hear this gratitude practice, but I think really carving out the time and doing it right in the morning when your mind is fresh and open to ideas, because that really sets the tone for the day. So that's really how I start. I'll start there. I use the bathroom and then I come back. And this is just, when I hear him kind of singing and saying mama on the crib, and he's totally fine by himself. And then I love to meditate before I get him, which doesn't always look like I'd like it to. I like to meditate 20 minutes in the morning. I practice transcendental meditation, which doesn't work for everybody, but getting whatever I can in. So some mornings it looks like 5 minutes before I grab him, or 10 minutes. And, I think this word meditation too is so intimidating. I think so many people are like, meditation, I don't know how to do that. And I don't know how to do this. We all know how to breathe, right? We all know how to close our eyes.
Right.
And I'm sharing some meditation breakdowns on an app, which hopefully will be launching soon, which I can share more with you when it's ready for your audience. But it's something we can all do, and we can all do it anywhere. I meditate on the subway. I meditate in taxis. I will meditate on a park bench. It's just taking that time, closing your eyes, really feeling your body, dropping your shoulders, breathing into breathing into your stomach, and paying attention if you're breathing through your chest, which, as you know, just increases the cortisol in your body. So you really want to be a stomach breather, and just observing your breath, acknowledging your breath, and just really starting there. That's a meditation, and thoughts are going to come up naturally, which is fine. Meditation doesn't erase your thoughts. It's a tool to, acknowledge them. Sometimes I label them. If I'm in a place where I'm facing a lot of fear, I say, okay, that's my fear. Come back to my breath, come back to my breath. And I do use a mantra. I love I am on every inhale, exhale, here, now. That really helps ground you in any moment. Even if you can't close your eyes, if you're walking on the street, but you're feeling super anxious, you have a big presentation or something happened to your child, just taking an inhale, reminding yourself that I am here now, that you're in this present moment. And that's really the most important place you're ever going to be. We're always looking forward to the next thing or talking about what just happened. And we're not going to get a lot by going to those places. So just using that mantra, I am here now, is such a great tool to just introduce meditation into your life. So some mornings it's 5 minutes, some morning it's 10 minutes. And I'll get back to the meditation piece because I do strive for 20 minutes in the morning. So sometimes I break it up. I'll go back when he goes down for his nap. So, I get up with Benjamin, and I love getting in the kitchen and really getting him involved, and, showing him that all of these healthy foods, I try to make it fun, and I get him interested in it. He knows what the juicer is. He knows what the blender is. He knows when I say smoothie and juice, and just the more that you can just try to be an example for your children, or if you have guests over, if you don't have children, it's a beautiful thing. It's nice to share foods that make us feel good. And ultimately that's the goal, is to feel our absolute best. And, that's really why I eat a plant-based diet, because I've tried so many other things and there's nothing that's made me feel as grounded as I am in myself as I am when I eat a plant-based diet. So, and I don't look at it as a challenge. I don't think it's hard to eat out eating this way. And I think how you look at things is exactly how they're going to be. So if you find eating healthy to be so daunting and just so much work and it's so hard to do, then that's exactly how it will show up in your life. So, I think trying to first pay attention to how you talk about things, how you view things, and, catch it. Like if you catch yourself saying, oh, that's so difficult, or that's, reword it. That's one thing that's really helped me. I should do this. I can't be doing this, or that's wrong. And, it's then you program that as like, you're doing something wrong, and it creates so much anxiety in the body. And, so try to have fun with it. And I'm a huge fan of smoothies. They're so easy. The other day I was running late and I didn't have time to meditate. And I always say, it's not about having time, it's about finding time. Let me tell you, I was like running out the door and I was like, oh my God, I didn't meditate. And I felt such a difference. So I made a smoothie to go. I put it in a little thermos. I drank it on my way to my meeting. I poured it in a glass, had it at my meeting. And then the second my meeting was over, I went and I meditated. So it's like finding those moments where you can just take a breath and just, give your brain, everything going on in your mind, just a pause, because it affects how everything is throughout the rest of the day. I'm the best version of myself when I meditate, and there's no doubt about that.
So true. So true. That's how I typically start my days as well.
Oh, great.
And when I don't, my day just doesn't flow. It really feels like there's something missing. Like right?
Oh my God. Yes. That morning it was like Benjamin and I both weren't feeling well. And it was like, so just I was overwhelmed, as most moms feel in the morning, and mostly everyone feels. It's like, my husband, I recommend meditation a lot to him, and I'll be like, I just think about all the things I could be doing and being more productive, which I get. He's a businessman and thinking that way, but it's amazing how much more productive you can be in such an efficient way when you meditate.
Mm-hmm. Have you been able to get him
exercise? if people are afraid of that word, meditation.
Has he been able to even sit down for maybe 5 or 10 minutes? So
he does occasionally. I'm not going to lie and say he does all the time. He does. He's open to it. He has to. He's really good on the weekends. Like if I'm doing it, and I'll ask him to do it with me, and he'll join me and kind of do it in his own way and for however long he wants. But I think it's so important to be that influence in your relationship, because he teaches me things, and if there's anything that I can at least be a good just demonstrate something positive, it would be that, just like taking a break, because we both go a mile a minute.
And how about Benjamin? I think I saw something on Instagram that you wanted to have him on your lap while you meditated, and it was so cute, but it looked like he just kind of ran away.
He was like, no.
Does he at all? Does he sit still with you?
He does. I have this amazing photo, which I'll be posting soon. I just did a shoot with this company, and they captured I was meditating, and Benjamin curled up right next to me with his little book. And he knows when I say that I'm doing it, that's what I'm doing. And he's still a little young to have the attention span to actually do it.
Right.
But I think kids are never too early to introduce things. And I believe that with even green juices, smoothies with spinach in them.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he doesn't know. He doesn't know the difference. Our children absorb who we are. So I think the more, listen, his taste buds have changed a little bit. He's not as into green juices as he was 4 months ago, but that's okay. Like I find other ways to work things in. I think smoothies are like the the secret tool to getting some greens in your kid's diet without them really
Right.
knowing.
Yeah, you could definitely hide it in there and they won't know the difference.
Yes.
So, okay, so you start out your day. Meditation is definitely a huge part.
Yeah.
Are you also finding time to, what about like cooking? Because I know are you a vegan or a vegetarian?
Yes, I'm vegan. I'm 100% plant-based.
Oh, okay. And so
Yeah.
are you cooking every single meal? Do you sort of have help or?
Yeah. So I cook a good percentage of my meals. I would say a good like 75%. And then
Okay.
we do have a nanny and she cooks a lot of meals in advance for really myself and Benjamin. She will cook something for Noah in the morning for breakfast, but she'll make an amazing, like she just made a red bean soup, which was incredible. I've never had a red bean soup and it was amazing. I love it so much. And I'll try making it myself and sharing the recipe. It was so great. But it's definitely very helpful. Obviously, if you have someone who can do that. And that's not the case for a lot of people. I mean, on the weekends, I don't have any of that help. I do it all by myself. So I try my best to prepare as many things as I can. So I'll cook a batch of brown rice, I'll cook a batch of beans, and I'll cook them all fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And, um, I'll do a thing of brown rice pasta. So I have things. That's one thing that I've always done before I had a nanny or anything is, I try to cook once and have at least 3 or 4 meals. And that's so time consuming. I mean, I know moms who have 4 kids that are in the kitchen all the time. And, even now with just one son, I feel like all you really do is like you are feeding them and you're cleaning up and then you're feeding them again and then you're cleaning up. So it's a lot of time in the kitchen.
I can imagine.
And
Yes.
freezing smoothies too. So you can make a huge blender full of smoothies and then store them in the freezer in little, separate biodegradable Ziploc bags, or if you have little Tupperware containers, and then you just unfreeze it. It's finding ways to make things more just easier and less stressful in the home is so important.
Now, do you find now that it's winter, do you still tend to do as many green juices and smoothies as you would like compared to, I don't know, summertime when it's a little bit warmer?
No, I don't. I really don't. Like this morning, I actually didn't have a juice or a smoothie because it's too cold, and I'm a really big believer in listening to how you feel and what your body's craving. And in these cold months, you need warmer foods.
Yeah,
It's so much more comforting.
I
But
totally
still
agree.
will get a green juice in. It just tends to be a little bit later in the day.
Yeah, I agree. And today's an especially cold day in New York. It's 20 something, or at least it was 17 where I'm at, which is a
It's
little
really
north
cold.
of New York. So it's cold. I have no desire to have anything cold. And so it's soups, it's
Tons of
broths,
soups.
hmm
Yes. And
warming
oatmeal. I
foods.
love, I will still have, I love having fruit. I don't eat fruit after a meal. I share this a lot on social media. I personally benefited so well from food combining and not having mixing fruit with other things. So I have my fruit in the morning, which also has really cut my sweet tooth cravings. I used to crave sweets all the time. And, I had listened to many doctors over the years who said, don't eat fruit, don't eat bananas. And I found when I was depriving myself of those whole foods from the earth, I was like eating such crap, um, on just like whenever I could. So eating, I'm not afraid of bananas and I love them so much. So I'll have a banana with raspberries, first thing in the morning after a cup of warm water with lemon. And yes, I drink coffee. I love coffee. Coffee just makes life amazing, and I look forward to it. I wake up just is so happy knowing that I'm going to have a cup of coffee, and that's really changed after having a baby.
Is there a particular kind that you like, or do you do bulletproof or anything like that?
I used to do bulletproof, but it made me so jumpy. It made me too wired.
Oh, okay.
And I don't do the butter or any of that anymore. So I really do a coconut milk latte, and I make a latte. I have a frother, and I take my latte very serious. I put Benjamin in his high chair while he's eating his breakfast, and I froth up my coconut milk, and I make my latte, and then I'll have my fruit. I'll play with Benjamin, feed him. He likes to play with his cars in the high chair. And then I'll have oatmeal. I'll have some steel cut oats with coconut milk again, some coconut flakes, cinnamon. And that was so warming today. Like I felt so satisfied from having that.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
So I also see that you have an amazing, you're always at the Pilates because you have an amazing body.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me some
I'm
of
not
your...
always there.
Say that again?
I'm really not always at the Pilates.
You're not?
Studio.
I was going to ask you.
I go once a week.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. And then I do my own thing.
What do you do? How often? What does that look like?
So I'm so happy to share that I have partnered with Fitner. They are a fitness app where I'll be sharing all of my workouts, where you can subscribe for $9.99 a month and get all of my workouts. I'll be sharing meditations and recipes along with all of this amazing stuff that I'm so excited to finally share.
Very cool.
So this will be January, so out in January. So almost there. We still have some last minute things to tie up, but it's looking good. And so, okay, I used to work out like a freak. I will be so honest with you. I was obsessed with working out. I would do anything and everything, high intensity, low intensity, and I was not in the best shape of my life. But aside from that, I was like obsessive about it, to the point where if I didn't work out, I was moody, and I don't think that's any way to be. I will meditate any day over a workout, which almost sounds crazy, but I think once you have things really centered in your mind, it starts to come together with your body, if you will, if that makes sense. Once I let go in my mind of this idea of I needed to do all of these things and look this size, and I wanted to lose weight and my thighs were too big, and I stopped focusing on all of that stuff, and I started to really love and accept myself exactly the way I was, if I was 15 pounds heavier or not, because there's no guarantee when you lose 10 pounds that you're going to like yourself any more than you do now. And I think a lot of us can agree with that. But so now I really just maintain. Okay. And I think I know what has really helped me get to this place of being in the best shape is the way that I eat. The way that I eat and the fact that I meditate have kept me very grounded in myself and who I am. But I do love to work out, and I have really switched gears in the style of workout that I do. I do not love high intensity workouts. I have always found myself very anxious going in and leaving them. So I started to really pay attention to that and ask myself, why am I doing that? It's because that's what I'm told I should be doing. And then once I really connected with yoga and just the practice itself of what it teaches you, of, being really grounded in your body and breathing through the discomfort of the pose, not the pain, is where I started to find my strength. And through my, passion of my yoga practice, I really found Pilates as a way of making my yoga practice even better. It's helped me stand up a little bit taller. And then I started seeing results with Pilates that I had never seen in my body before. Just the long lines, the definition, and just feeling really good, not bulky or stressed from a high intensity workout. And I say this as my own experience. Will I take a high intensity class once in a while? Yeah, like if there's a class and someone's teaching and I like the teacher, I'll take a class. I'll try anything. It's just what I prefer now, and really staying true to that. And through the practice of, I'll take a Pilates class on the reformer once a week, maybe take a mat class once a week. But other than that, I'll take a yoga class maybe once a week. If I don't, and I haven't worked out in a week because I haven't been feeling good. So today I'm going to do a little routine that I've created just through trying so many different things. And it's simple stuff that you can do anywhere. You can do just on a yoga mat. You do not need sneakers. You do not need any equipment. I do some workouts with resistance bands and really lightweight. I love working with 2 pounds. To me is an ideal size to really hit those tiny muscles in your body, which give you those really, nice long lean lines and definition. Mm-hmm. And I'll rotate it. So I do a lot of my own stuff now. I love to get out and take a class when I can, but I've been spending a lot of time at home, videoing myself doing a lot of these workouts. So it's really become what I do and how I maintain, and just a level of feeling good, not feeling this need to, if I don't work out, I don't love my body or I don't look good enough. It's not that anymore. It's really, I love my body so much that I'm going to work out to just feel really good.
And is your yoga practice at home as well, or do you go somewhere for that?
So I've been practicing with a woman from Equinox for years. I love to take her class, and then she also teaches Noah yoga. So sometimes I'll jump into their class and we'll do a little like family yoga session, which Benjamin's obsessed with. He stays in the room the whole time and like watches us and like touches us. It's the cutest thing. So I'll do that. I mean, my days are never the same. Things are always very different for me. So I don't have a ton of structure around my day. So that's where creating, having that meditation and the structure around what I eat helps me keep some peace of mind with what I'm doing, because I'm kind of all over the place with work and here and there. But, I can always rely on getting my own yoga session in here at the house. And so when I put myself through a program, it's a mix of a yoga meets Pilates sequence. So through my practice of discovering both of these workouts, I find that I love combining them. I really love the benefits of going through a yoga sequence and then going down onto the mat and really working my glutes, my legs, my abs, my arms in a Pilates sequence, and then finishing up with a yoga sequence. And, I have started teaching a class, and hopefully I'll be teaching somewhere soon where I can start really teaching people on a regular basis. But That's when I teach a class, that's the style that I teach.
Oh, very nice. I'd love to know where you teach. I'd love to come and check it out.
Post it on everything.
So
there's like so many things brewing, so I have to.
Yeah, the app sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm so excited to be able to share in a way that it's it's $9.99. It's such a great price, and I think it's awesome. I'm so excited to be a part of it.
Now, let me ask you this, because for me, it is hard for me to do something at home. I feel like after 15 minutes, I'm like, oh,
bored.
Yes. I don't have the people around me, maybe the same ambiance. I get distracted. Oh, the washer's done. The clothes need to go into the dryer. So then I would stop. So
that's my in the office.
How do you do it? And are you going somewhere else to do when you do your yoga with Pilates? Are you doing it somewhere else? Are you doing it at home?
So sometimes I am the same exact way. I thrive on energy in the gym and being around it, just like-minded people, and the energy itself and the environment. I'm my best in those situations. However, I don't always have that time anymore. So if you're working out at home, I recommend a killer playlist, a playlist that when you put on, you just want to move and that there's nothing that's distracting you from that. And I really, I rarely will do an hour by myself at home. Sometimes it's even 15 minutes, but I do my best to get like a 45-minute workout in. So just knowing that when you shut that door, like that's your time to really, dedicate to your body and just feeling good. And, the outcome of that is you will look even better, which is great. And we all want to look good. So a killer playlist, because I thrive off the energy of being in a great gym environment too. I really do. So it's become, I'm constantly updating my playlist for songs that just make me want to move.
Yeah, that's definitely key too, especially if you're home and especially in these cold months. I think at least for me, it's hard for me to get to the gym. And actually, I'm going to be switching out my gym membership for the yoga because hot yoga just works for me. I love it.
It's wonderful. In the winter, it's a blessing.
It totally is. It totally is. So, okay, yeah, that's a good idea for sure. Killer playlist. And then do you just have sort of your own thing that you do, or do you watch videos or apps from anyone else, or do you kind of just have your own?
I've been working out since I was 15 years old. It was the first thing that I ever bought myself was a gym membership. So I've always been extremely passionate about being fit and just feeling really good in my body. And, through that passion, I've been really lucky to work with some of the best trainers in the world. I worked with Justin Gallivan, who trains the Victoria's Secret models. I've worked with Michael Olajide, who also trains the Victoria's Secret models, and just amazing trainers. I've been really lucky to have these, these people living in New York, and I worked out at Tracy Anderson's studio for a while, and I've always been a huge fan of Tracy Anderson's. And I started by doing her DVDs, and I actually started by doing her YouTube videos for free. So I didn't even buy anything. And then I became so into everything she was doing that I ended up buying her DVD series. I did them through my pregnancy. They have a pregnancy one. And so that's really how it started. And then through the years of realizing what works for me, what I love, that's what brought me to this place of creating something within myself that just was authentic to me and the things that I now love. So when I get down on the mat, it never really looks the same.
Okay.
I always throw something in to change it up. And, I do Tracy arms. I love Tracy's arm workout. I am a huge fan of Tracy Anderson's.
Very nice.
Yes.
And what about, I really love, the fact that you're a businesswoman and you're modeling, correct? Am I right with that?
I am still modeling, yes.
Oh, okay. So you're busy doing that. You're also creating this app. You're a health and wellness coach. What about some other, and aside from like spending time like cooking and doing your, having healthy vegan meals, and you have your baby and a husband, what sort of self-care routines do you have? And do you have, certain days that you do certain things? Or is there at least one thing that you do every day? Tell me some of your self-care routines that you do.
Yes, I dry brush every day.
Oh, okay.
I dry brush every day before I get in the shower. And if I forget to do it before I get in the shower, I dry brush after. And that just really opens up the lymphatic system. It helps, really clean out the gut, and I find that it's to help my bowel movement stay really efficient. I take a probiotic every day. That's a huge self-care routine of mine. So I take a probiotic in the morning, and I take a probiotic in the evening before bed. I find that I've had a lot of issues in my gut, and I've had leaky gut for years after taking antibiotics my entire life. And these practices have really helped me restore my gut. And, whenever I'm feeling like I need a little pick me up, or my skin's starting to break out and I'm feeling a little sluggish, that is when I'll go to DTX, actually, in New York, and they have an infrared sauna. So I'll use the infrared sauna, and then I get colonics, and I am not shy about sharing that. They have tremendously changed my life, my gut health, my skin, and it was always bloated for years and years. I rarely am bloated, and I find it's from all of these practices.
How often do you get one?
So I don't really, I know people who get them once a week and once a month. I don't do it that often. I do it when I feel like I need to do it. Okay. So it will maybe be once every, I would say 8 weeks, 6 weeks if I'm feeling really down, and even when my mood starts to drop off, I usually will do an infrared sauna and colonic. It's nothing that I'm addicted to. It's really a self-care practice, because it has kept me feeling so good for so many years. And I would choose that over a massage, which sounds absolutely crazy. I know all the people who will be listening to this, but it's the benefits are so tremendous that I would choose that any day. And, I love to read a good book at night when my baby's in bed, light a candle, put some face oil on, eye cream. At my self-care, it's things, really simple things that are just, right at your fingertips. It's nothing crazy that you have to do, but, for the infrared sauna and the colonic, you do have to leave your house, and, it does cost a little bit of money. It's not crazy expensive, but it's not just putting a little eye cream on, but I think in return you just feel so much better.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think that even your meditation, that's self-care.
Huge. Yeah, that's the ultimate.
I mean, that's like the ultimate of the day, right? And do you also do meditation at the end of the day?
I do. So before Benjamin, I would meditate 20 minutes in the morning, and then 20 minutes around, I would say like 5 o'clock in the evening. But now I don't do that, because I'm with Benjamin throughout the whole night. So I will, once he's down, is when I dim the light. I have my book, and I read A Course in Miracles too. I should definitely say that.
Okay.
I do a daily lesson, and I read the book, and that I find just picking that book up and reading the lesson is so grounding, and it just helps bring some peace to mind, and it settles any anxieties that you're feeling. And I do close my eyes, and I take myself through a mini meditation in the evening, and I pray before I go to bed. And that's all self-care, because it just helps me slow down and just reset to be like the best version of myself the next day.
So it's amazing that you get 9 hours at least per night.
I'm a huge sleeper.
Well, sleep is huge
because of it, but he understands.
What time do you go to bed?
I go to bed, ideally it would be 9:30. Sometimes it's 10, but I mean, I'll really try to sleep if I can get to bed at 9:30. And Benjamin's been sleeping later, actually. I mean, some days I'll sleep 10 hours. He's been waking up around 7:30, some days after 8. So,
oh wow!
If I don't have a ton of work to do after he's in bed, then that's when I'll try to get some work done before going into my whole winding down time with myself. And part of that is turning off electronics. It's probably the hardest thing to do is to not go on Instagram before you go to bed. But it's so bad.
It is.
It's
so
you just
hard.
become so consumed with everything, and your mind's going, and even the lights on the phone and computers. It's just something if you can, cutting it off. I try 45 minutes before, even 30 minutes makes a huge difference in the quality of sleep that you get.
So true. I mean, sleep in general, just to help regenerate the adrenals. I mean, we need sleep. So I'm so glad that you're getting that much, especially because then once you're up with Benjamin, it's a full day.
It's a full day. Oh, these babies just go. They are no joke. I had no idea. I have nieces and nephews that I was like, this is like a real thing. Oh my God. It's wonderful. But they keep you going.
Yeah, I bet. Well, it does sound like you do take the time for meditation. You're making that a priority, and we all know that when, at least also for me, when I don't, there's totally something missing. Like I can't even when I'm away on vacation, I have to do it as well. I don't know if is that the same for you?
Oh yes. More so actually.
Yeah.
If I'm around other people, I need to. It's really become a need. Even my husband will say, Melissa, maybe you should go meditate. I know what that translates as. You're being a moody bitch. And he's right. Because I used to be really moody. I was a very moody, anxious person for a very long time, for my whole life. And I'm not anymore. We have our days, but I think labeling myself as that is, it's a limited belief anyways, but I'm not that anymore.
I never sensed that when I first met you at Oz's office. Never.
Really?
You never had an inkling of anxiety.
Also really good at hiding it. I used to be really good at hiding my pain and all my hidden secrets. And, I suffered from an eating disorder, and I had a horrible acne, which I was also really good at hiding and covering up. And I think living that way for so long will eat you alive. And it did. It tore me down. And I finally got to a place where I couldn't hide it anymore. And it just didn't feel good. And sharing it was so empowering and exhilarating to just be honest with myself and with people. And my family and my friends had no idea.
Oh, wow. It probably has been a journey for you.
Oh, yes. I was on a coaching call with one of my lovely clients today, and she was like, oh, well, I can't imagine you, anything like that. I'm like, I was a disaster. I was fighting with girls. I would get into actual physical fights. Like I was just a loaded gun, just like waiting to blow. I was unpredictable. I wasn't reliable. I wasn't grounded. I think I am who I am. So I had the same, friendly energy, and I was approachable and outgoing. So that can really mask all of these things that I was trying so hard to hide. And I got really good at hiding my pain for years. And for people out there who have ever suffered from an eating disorder or just not feeling enough, know that there comes a point in your life where, you need to make a change. And the change for me was asking for help and really reaching out and realizing that I needed help, that I couldn't rely on my own strength anymore. And a lot of that has turned over into meditation and praying to what it is you believe, if it's God, if it's a higher power. And that's really become a strength of mine that I didn't have growing up. I wasn't, I didn't grow up in a spiritual, religious home. And these are things that I've really come to on my own just through seeking this this need to feel good in my own body. And, I think that's really ultimately what has led me to this work is, I was working with a health coach before I even knew what a health coach was. And she helped me really get to a place of liking myself. And I was working with a therapist who helped me understand why I was doing this stuff, like why I was throwing up. And, I think that's really that was a changing point for me was asking for help and being ready to receive.
Great. Going back to what you mentioned about your spirituality.
Yeah.
And so for you, there may be people out there who don't know what A Course in Miracles is. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. So I've been reading, I picked up A Course in Miracles a couple years ago, and I picked it up. I was so intimidated by it. I didn't understand anything, and I put it down. And then I couldn't find it in my home. And I've been reading A Course in Miracles for a good year now. And I've been doing the lessons for about half a year. And so A Course in Miracles is a required course, and it's actually required for everyone to take it. And it's not a religion.
Right,
it's a way of understanding how really the world works and how our thought process works in seeing what you see in the world. And, it's known as the foundation for inner peace. And that's really the best way for me to describe it, because that's really what it's become for me. And it's helped me really open my eyes to allowing God to come into my life and really feeling God in my meditations and in my prayer. And it's been a wonderful tool in just opening my eyes to things that maybe I think one way, and then, I'll read a passage and I'm like, oh, that's all ego. And it's the text can be a little wordy and a little complicated, but the more that you get into it, so I go to Marianne Williamson in New York. She speaks live here in New York City, and you can live stream her anywhere in the world, which I've been live streaming a lot because I haven't made it there. And her teachings are all based off A Course in Miracles. So I went to her because she helped break everything down for me. I understood it more when I heard her explain it. And then the more that I tune in to see her live once a week, and I read the book, and I've read her book. So A Return to Love is also a book that she wrote based off the principles in A Course in Miracles. And I think that's actually a great book. I recommend it to everyone. It's become my go-to in every state that I'm in my life. It's my source of just reliable wisdom in my life. That's like my role model. But it's called
A Return to Love, that one?
Yes, it's called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. And reading that book, I was like, okay, I've read it 4 times. I'm like, I think I'm ready for A Course in Miracles, because it helped me understand it more. It helped me understand that, you may think this one way or see the world in this way. And just because you see things like that doesn't mean that's exactly how it is. It actually helps you to see things for what it really is. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. I hope I explained that thoroughly. It could be a complicated text if you allow it to be, but there's so many ways to break it down.
Now, I know about the Course in Miracles, and I love Marianne Williamson, and I do have several of her books as well. But I've never actually bought the text because it does seem intimidating to me. So is it just, it comes with a workbook? Is that how?
Yes. So the text is the beginning to like the middle of the book. And then the workbook is it's at the end of the book. So I actually started by doing the workbook before I started reading the book. But now I do a daily lesson. So every day you have a lesson. There's 365 lessons. And some days, if I don't understand my lesson, I repeat it the next day. And listen, that I don't know if I'm breaking a rule, but I like to really understand something. And, it will give you like let's see, the other day mine was to to trust in to trust in God through this process of like what is becoming of me. So instead of me just always trusting in myself, relying on my own strength, like I was saying earlier, it's giving over. It's allowing this power to say, okay, you know what? It's like meditating and praying on these things that you want, but allowing to release it and not put so much pressure on yourself to like make things happen. And Marianne's really big with that. She's like, what's this intention thing? Like, who is setting an intention? She's really funny about it. But I see where she's saying, I actually still say it. I like the word intention, but
I do too.
Yeah, I like the word intention. I think it's a positive thing. But she, yeah, so it helps. So I'll start before I sit down to do my meditation. So if it's after Benjamin's already down for a nap, I read my lesson. So I start by reading my lesson, I close the book, and then I go into my meditation. And a lot of the time, the lesson of the day carries me through a lot of my meditation. So
I like that.
Yeah. And then I'll go into a mantra, but then I'll come back through and just hold the space for that to really resonate with me and to sit with me.
Oh, wow. I love that. Well, it is coming close to that time already. It went by so quickly.
By so fast.
Is there any last things, any little sort of nuggets that you want to leave the listeners with? If there are moms out there or anyone actually who's just finding a struggle with having enough time to do it all and to still lead a healthy lifestyle and get to the gym or yoga and having, a spiritual practice.
Yes.
Any last tidbits?
Yes. First and foremost, be kind to yourself. I think we're all so hard on ourselves to do it all, to look this way. And I think really the more loving and accepting of ourselves, and when I look at myself in the mirror, if I have a huge pimple on my face, which I do right now, that's why I was like, oh, we don't have to do a video. Okay, just kidding. It's looking at my face, broken out or not, and saying, I love and accept you, like exactly the way I am. That's a Louise Hay statement, but I love it so much because it's just a reminder that you can look different tomorrow, but you may not feel different about yourself. So really, really learning to love yourself and just be kind and gentle. Listen, it's the winter. It's okay if you can't do it all right now and do all these things. Sit down, have a cup of hot chocolate with coconut milk, and, allow yourself to enjoy things that you love, and don't compare yourself to others, to other mothers, to other people who are in the same business as you, because I find I did that for too long. I became really obsessed with this girl who was doing everything I want to do, and why is she doing this and I'm not? And I find that that's like, the more we can empower women and see people who are doing things that are wonderful and just say, you know what, good for her. I send her love, bless her, and really mean it. I think wonderful things will keep coming into your life. And just, don't put your attention towards things that you don't have and all these things that you want. Focus on all the beautiful gifts that you have in your life. And I think that's what can really make positive transitions to things that you do want.
Yes. Focusing on the gifts, the gratitude for everything.
Gratitude. It's,
so key.
I'm guilty of it too. And when I find myself in that place, thank God I have these tools that I resort back to that are just constant reminders of, okay, you're letting yourself go there. It's just honing in and, labeling things as they come up, and just the kindness factor with yourself. I can't stress that enough.
So true. I think there's just a lot of women who are, even when they're not really feeling, or their bodies, they're just tired.
Yeah.
Or, maybe they didn't sleep well and they're like, no, I have to go to 5:30 Soul Cycle.
Yeah, sleep.
5:30 a.m. Soul Cycle.
No, get the
like,
sleep.
No, please don't.
I would choose sleep or meditation over a workout, which I would have never said that a year ago. Even 1 year ago, I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I think women, like if I can say anything to help women, I give you the permission to like slow down
Yes.
and go with the flow of your body, and especially with cycles and where you are in your menstrual cycle is so important. And kind
Oh
of
yeah.
knowing around your period time you don't want to work out. It's okay. Just it's actually okay to like have a brownie, like a hot fudge sundae if you want,
It's so true.
and just watch some
And don't
TV.
feel guilty about it. I think
No.
this idea of doing something then feeling really guilty, you only hold stress and hold weight when you do that.
Yeah. So true. Wow. Well, I've got three quick little questions that I usually end all of my calls with.
Okay.
Okay. So, first one is, what is at your bedside right now?
What is at my bedside right now is I have lip balm by Epicurean, and I usually keep what one do I have there? A hand cream. So I think it's Burt's Bees, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty simple. And then I have my Return to Love and my books underneath my nightstand. I don't keep a lot of stuff on my bedstand. Less clutter is better.
What is one of your guilty pleasures?
One of my guilty pleasures would be eating an entire bowl of chips and guacamole.
Okay, I love that. I could easily do that as well.
Yes, I could kill a bag of chips and guacamole.
And aside from A Course in Miracles, is there another book that you're reading through, fiction or
So
nonfiction?
I feel as if I'm always reading A Return to Love. That's one thing that I do keep under my bedstand, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just my never-ending source of wisdom. And I love the China Study. Those are two books. Those are my go-to that I could never stop reading. I will always read them over and over. But I'm reading The Happy Vegan right now by Russell Simmons, and it's
Oh,
wonderful. It's really great.
I've heard about his book. But I have not actually read it. How is it? How is it so
It's
far?
really great. I've become such a fan of his after I've met Russell before over the years. I don't know him that well or personally, but I really like him. I like him even more.
Yeah, I've met him a few times as well. And I know that he does yoga at Jivamukti down
Yeah.
in, and I think I may have heard that he's opening up a yoga studio or something. I'm not sure where.
Yes, he did in LA.
Oh, he did
And
already. Okay.
yes, and I'm going out there for the holidays, so I'm definitely going to try it out.
Oh, very cool. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking this time. I know free space and time in the life of a mom and a
Yeah.
busy and an entrepreneur and wife is difficult. So I thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with us. And I wish you the most beautiful holiday season.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully, and maybe, our paths will cross and I can come in and take one of your classes in Manhattan.
Oh,
That
I
sounds
would
cool.
love that. Yes, I would love that. And thank you very much for reaching out to me. This has been such a pleasure, and I'm excited to share this with my viewers as well.
Oh, and tell us, where can we find you, and um, where can people find you if they want to find you?
Yes. So if you would like to find me, the best place is my Instagram is at Melissa Wood Health, and that's HEALTH. Sounds like I'm saying help sometimes. And my website is www.melissawoodhealth.com. Those are the best sources.
Great. And then you've got this app coming out.
Yes, I have. Fitner app has actually already launched. My portion the of this section is it hasn't fully launched yet, but I will be sharing that loud and clear on Instagram. So I'll be sure to post away. I'm really excited to share all my workouts that I'm so passionate about and that have really helped me get into tip-top shape post-baby.
Oh, I know. You're in amazing shape.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats on the app. It sounds amazing. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. So, and I'll be looking, I'm sure you'll have something on Instagram as well, right? When that comes out?
I definitely will. Thank you, Margaret. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for joining. If you'd love to learn more about Melissa Wood and for all the show notes, come on over to margaretromero.com, episode 15. If you haven't joined us on the Facebook group, come on over, join us there. I post a few times a week, personal stories, videos, and whatnot. It is at margaretromero.com/Facebook. And to get a little sneak peek into my daily life, my rituals, functional medicine, the foods that I'm eating, the foods that I'm cooking for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can find that all on Instagram, and head on over to instagram.com/Margaret Romero. And I'll see you next week.